Hi, my name is Jaymie. I'm going to share with you the story of how a girl in our school disappeared and how I was bullied for a month because of it. Before we continue with the story, like this video and click subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to keep updated with more nutty stories like this. When I was in 5th grade, a new girl transferred to our school in the middle of the year and she was placed in my class. Her name was Casmer. She was a Muslim immigrant. She was a very shy girl and spoke English with an accent, so she didn't fit in well. On top of that, she also wore a hijab which covered most of her face, and I'll admit, we thought it was kind of weird. Casmer had no friends, and she was always alone. Now, I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but when I was in grade school, I was kind of a bully. For some reason, I had this crazy idea that making fun of the weaker kids would make me more popular in school, and I'm not really proud of that stage of my life. Casmer had never done me wrong, but still, I bullied her. She was always aloof, and that made her an easy target. During that time, the movie Underworld became a blockbuster hit, and everyone in school kind of believed in the existence of vampires. So I told everyone that Casmer was always covering her face with her hijab because she was afraid of the sun like a vampire. Soon, everyone in school called her the Vampire Girl. I would intentionally throw pieces of leftover food at her and purposefully spill drinks on her in the cafeteria. No one really stood up for her either. Despite everything I put her through, Casmer never cried nor said a word to the teachers and simply continued to attend our school. I, on the other hand, was kind of proud of the mean things I was getting away with, even if I knew it was wrong. Every afternoon, Casmer and I walked in the same direction going home. I had a lot of opportunities to apologize to her back then. I should have, but I never did. I let her walk ahead of me while I always stayed a block behind her, and that was one of my many mistakes. The day Casmer went missing, we were walking home, as usual, her trotting ahead while I kept a safe distance between us. I saw a van without a license plate coming towards her. My parents had already warned me about being cautious around vehicles without license plates, so I kind of had a bad feeling about the vehicle. The van stopped right in front of Casmer. My mind told me to warn her, but before I could say anything, she was pulled into the van and it was gone. It all happened too quickly. I froze by the roadside, not knowing what to do. Should I go to the police? Should I tell my parents? But what if they asked me why I didn't do anything about it? What if they found out I'd been bullying her in school? I'd surely be put in a tight spot. What should I do? Different kinds of thoughts ran through my mind, and in the end, I decided to keep quiet about it. Maybe her parents will report to the police when they realize she's missing. Following that incident, Casmer never came back to school. No one knew what happened to her. Soon, everybody in school wondered why she suddenly disappeared, but I still couldn't get myself to confess what I saw. I was too afraid I'd be blamed for it. Every night, I had nightmares. I'd replay that scene over and over in my head where Casmer was forcefully pulled into the vehicle, and it kept me up almost every night. Then it got worse. Several kids in school started blaming me for Casmer's disappearance. They said she quit school because I bullied her too much. I wanted to say I knew what happened, but I was too scared. A few of the kids even gave me a taste of my own medicine. They made me experience every mean thing I did to Casmer. The once predator now became the prey. It was then that I finally understood how terrible Casmer must have felt when I was bullying her. My schoolmates' bullying went on for a month until one day, as some kids were throwing leftover food at me in the cafeteria, I exploded. I couldn't take it anymore, so I cried out, "It wasn't my fault! Casmer was kidnapped!" I felt relieved letting it out. The information eventually reached the teachers, who immediately contacted the local police. Soon, Casmer's disappearance was all over the news. We found out that her parents were undocumented immigrants, so they couldn't ask for the police's help when their daughter went missing. The search went on for weeks without a lead. 1 month later, a classmate suddenly found her sleeping inside a cabinet in the classroom. She was all ragged and dirty. She wasn't even wearing her hijab anymore. Everyone looked at her curiously. What had happened to Casmer over the past 2 months? And why is she suddenly inside our classroom's cabinet? We were all so curious. What are your thoughts about this story? Share it in the comment section below. If you want to know what happened to Casmer, share this video and help us get to 500 likes to see part 2, which should be released by tomorrow. You won't want to miss it. For now, check out our other Nutty stories.